I recently did a video on how to stop being so defensive, and today we're going to look at it from the other side of how to deal with a defensive person. I'm Jenny from Lovemore to Live, where we talk about relationships and getting healthy so that all your relationships can be healthy. If you're new here, consider subscribing and don't forget to hit the bell so that you receive notifications of future videos. But let's jump into the video and get started. What do you do when you're trying to point out something to someone that has hurt you and they fight back? They say, it's not my fault, I can't help it, it's just the way I am. Or they say, you're condemning me, you're judging me, you're being unloving and unkind. They may even say, you have no right to point out my faults, you're not perfect either. The person can't apologize in a genuine way. They make all kinds of excuses and shift the focus from themselves to you. You become the problem in the relationship instead of them owning their mistake. Now, if you've ever had this happen to you, if you've ever had to deal with someone like this, leave a comment below and let me know. What did you do? I'd really like to learn from you. In my previous video about being defensive, we looked at reasons why people get defensive, and feel free to go and watch that video. But let's just recap that very quickly. People get defensive because they have a low self-worth, and any kind of correction makes them feel bad about themselves. That was my experience. The minute I get corrected, I feel I'm just a rotten person. I'm just so bad, and I feel so guilty and condemned that I don't know what to do with myself except fight back. That's just one of the reasons that people get defensive, and I think it's probably the main reason is that we immediately feel I'm bad and I have to fight back and protect myself from feeling bad. So let's go back to the original question. What do you do when someone will not own their mistakes and their faults and they fight back and get defensive? What can you, as the person who's trying to point something out to them, do? Well, number one is assure the person that in your pointing this out, that you are not condemning them. You're only pointing out a behavior. You're not attaching behavior to value and who they are as a person. It's not a personal thing. It's something that they have done that has hurt you or offended you or upset you. Number two, try not to be defensive yourself, and that could be a little bit difficult because if the person fights back at you and starts accusing you of things, it may be difficult for you to not get defensive. But try not to be defensive, because all that's going to do is create a cycle that's going to go round and round, and the conflict's not going to be solved. Number three is recognize that the reaction probably has very little to do with you and more to do with how they're feeling inside themselves. And I can really relate to that, because that is the reason why I get defensive. It's more about me and how I'm feeling about myself than it is about the person that's correcting me. Number four is ask questions that help you to understand the person. So, ask them to tell you how are they feeling. Why do they feel that way? What is upsetting you? And I find it really, really helps when Richard speaks to me in a tone that's understanding and compassionate, and when he says, I want to understand why do you feel that way? Immediately it diffuses the situation and makes me less defensive. Number five is have an open conversation with a person about how they are responding. In other words, before you even deal with the problem, you're now dealing with why they respond to you the way they do. Because before you can ever solve a problem, you need to be able to communicate about it in a healthy way. And if you can't do that, then that's your first problem to solve, is get your communication to a point where you can resolve your conflict without flare-ups and defensiveness and fighting. So ask the person if you can have a difficult conversation with them about something that's bothering you and that may be tough to hear. It does make it a little bit easier for the person. It's sort of a preparation for the person that's defensive. Okay, something's coming at me now. It just helps to prepare them for what's coming. Don't use blame language like you always do this and you never do that and why did you do this, and check your tone, check that you're not being accusing or blaming, because that's immediately going to make the person defensive. And then some of the worst things you can say is stop taking this personally or stop being defensive, because what's the person going to do? they are going to be defensive. It's just the nature of a defensive person. They are going to fight back at you and say, I'm not being defensive. I'm not taking it personally. So don't say those two things. Ask the person how you can make it easier for them to take correction and pointing out of their faults or something that they've done that's offended you. So taking that step back and getting this established before you even actually confront the real issue is going to be very helpful. Number 6 is establish boundaries if nothing changes. So if the person continues to deny that they have a problem, they continue to project it back onto you and say you're the one with the problem, you being unkind, you being unloving, and they refuse to engage with you or change, then just have another conversation with them and say, this is the way things are going, I don't feel it's going well, and I'm going to have to do something about it. And then your boundary is going to have to be something like, you will have to spend less time with them, or you will not be able to work together with them, or you're not going to be able to have a healthy relationship with them. In other words, confront the issue and let them know what the consequences are going to be if they're not prepared to engage with you in a healthy way. Having your faults pointed out is never easy. It's not easy for anybody, but for a defensive person, it's just 100 times worse. And there are ways to make it easier, and hopefully these tips will help you. Let me know in the comments how you deal with a defensive person, and when they fight back at you and refuse to own their mistakes and blame you possibly, and even tell you you're being judgmental and critical and you're not caring and loving. What do? I want to know. Help me. If this video was helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed, consider subscribing and hitting the bell so that you receive notifications of future videos. And we'll see you next time.